Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 12 o'clock and it's a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. And today we're going to do a very different Q&A. I'm not going to answer a whole series of questions like I normally do. Instead, I'm going to spend a little bit of time answering the question that comes up every single week, multiple times a week. People turn around to me and say, "Hey, what are all these tattoos you've got on your arms for? What do they do?" And I've kind of said to people, "Oh, all of these tricks, all these tattoos are designed to do a magic trick," and that causes more people to ask questions. "Oh, show me the tricks that the tattoos do." So today on this Q&A, I'm just going to answer that one question. I'm going to talk to you about my tattoos, what they do, demonstrate some of the tricks with them, and kind of tell you why I got them. So, first thing that I want to say is that getting a tattoo for me goes way back to when I was on the Wizard product review with David Penn, because we reviewed a trick. I can't remember the name of the trick now, but I remember the effect. The effect was somebody had a phone, they went through a phone, they picked a tattoo at random off the internet, and then they pulled the tattoo onto the person's arm. And I remember turning around to Dave Penn and saying, "Oh, I really want to do that." And he turned around to me and said, "You'll never get a tattoo." And I said, "Yes, I will. I'll definitely get a tattoo." And this went through the whole history of the Wizard product review. It was a running joke that Craig would never get a tattoo. Well, Dave, you're wrong. Because what happened is I did eventually get a tattoo, then another one, but it was several years after I left the Wizard product review that I got my first tattoo. To be honest, I forgot about having a tattoo. I just focused on my business and running my business and building that side of things up. And then my wife, Sarah, she got a tattoo. She's here behind the camera today. She got a couple of tattoos. She actually got 3 tattoos. And my issue with getting a tattoo at the time was that I was scared of needles, petrified of needles. I remember going on holiday with Sarah to Las Vegas, and I got really ill with food poisoning, and the doctor came to the hotel room to give me an injection to make me feel better. And it took me about an hour and a half for the doctor to actually give me the injection, didn't it, Sarah?
At least 2 hours.
At least 2 hours. I was petrified. I was like, "You're not going to put that needle in me." And it was only the fact that I was literally dying that I let him. And I screamed like a little girl. And then afterwards, I realised that needles weren't actually that bad. I stopped being scared of needles. And that took away the big barrier for me getting a tattoo. And so I got the first tattoo. The first tattoo I got, after Sarah got her 3 tattoos, the first tattoo I got was about 2.5 years ago. And then every couple of months after that, I got another tattoo to where we are right now. Now, I should tell you that the person who does all of my tattoos, her name is Kat Stanley, and she runs a company called Catapult Inc. If you're in the UK and you want a tattoo artist, she is an artist. I want you to understand the difference between a tattooist and an artist. A tattooist will just literally maybe use a stencil, or you pick from a whole bunch of designs. A tattoo artist will create something from scratch for you. And that's what Kat does. You can check her out on Facebook, you can check her out on YouTube, TikTok. She's absolutely amazing. She's a mobile tattooist. She's done every single one of my tattoos. And she also happens to be the assistant in my illusion show, the lead assistant in my illusion show. So a lot of you might know, I do a big illusion show called Slightly Unusual, The Comedy Illusionists. And she's the girl that gets in the box. And regularly we're traveling to a gig. We might be traveling like a 6-hour round trip to go to a gig, and we'll be there planning out what tattoo I'm going to get next. And I have given Kat on all of these tattoos carte blanche. And what I mean by that is I say to her, "This is the effect I want to achieve. This is what I want the tattoo to do." And then she will go and she will create something for me, and it'll be completely bespoke. I think the first thing you need to understand is if you're going to go down the route of having tattoos, you need to make sure that you have a good tattoo artist, somebody you can trust. Because once you've got the tattoo, it's very difficult. It is possible, but it is very difficult to take it off. Now, before I tell you what all these tattoos do, there's one other thing I want to say. And this is a question that comes up again and again. People say to me, "Do you think that having tattoos has affected the type of work that you get or the amount of work you get?" And the answer is yes, positively. because I have people ringing me up now. I've got lots of videos all over the internet of me doing tricks with tattoos, and I have people ringing me up going, "Oh, are you the guy with the tattoos? Are you the guy that does the tattoo magic tricks?" To the point that at one point I actually considered setting up a website called Tattoo Magic, because so many people know me as that guy. Now, have I lost out a couple of bookings? Maybe. Maybe somebody's dropped on my website that's like a very wholesome Christian family. Maybe they're Mormons. Maybe they're people, a religious group that doesn't like tattoos, and maybe they're looking at me and they're going, "Oh, that's disgusting, I don't want to book that person." And maybe they've gone down the route of saying, "Well, no, we're not going to book that guy." Is that possible? Yes, it is possible. Maybe. I don't know. I like to believe that people book me because of how good I am, not by what I have on my skin. But I've had so many bookings from people that have booked me because they want to see the tricks that I do with tattoos. I remember there's only been one time at a gig where I was doing a walk around gig. I remember it. It was at a university, Birmingham University, but it wasn't like for university students. It was for like all of the staff. It was for the alumni, it was for the academy, all the lecturers, and it was kind of like a party thing that they were having. And I was doing mix and mingle magic. And when I perform, I always roll my sleeves up. You will never see a video of me without my sleeves up. My sleeves are always up to here. And I remember performing to this group of people, and there was one person in a group of about 5, and she just looked at me afterwards and she went, "How can you mangle your skin like that?" And I went, "Well, I'm very sorry you find it offensive." And she went, "No, I like the magic. I just think that, yes, your skin is offensive." And I'm very sorry. I'm not going to roll my sleeves down for you, love. But that's the only time that somebody said anything negative. So if there's somebody watching this video and they're thinking, well, maybe I should get a tattoo to do magic with, my advice, make sure you definitely want to go down this route, because once you've gone down it, there's no coming back, right? Okay, it would be agony for me to remove all these tattoos. And then secondly, think it through. If you're doing the same thing as I did, which is, you have an effect in mind and you want a tattoo to pull off that effect, make sure you thought it through to the nth degree, because once it's on your skin, it's very difficult to backtrack. And also work out where you want that tattoo versus others, because if you're wanting to do multiple routines with tattoos and you put a tattoo in a place that makes it very difficult to do other routines and incorporate other tattoos, it's going to make things very difficult for you. So now you understand the history behind the tattoos, why I got the tattoos. Let's have a look at some of my tattoos and see what they do. Okay, so the first tattoo I ever got was this one right here. It was so weird just having one tattoo on my arm. It was so weird looking back, but I literally just had a Rubik's Cube plonked right there on my inner forearm. And the reason I chose to put it there is because I kind of figured if I'm walking over to people and I'm performing, they probably won't see this unless I have my hands palm up. So it felt like a good position to actually have a tattoo. And I knew what I wanted to do, and I needed my right hand free, so it made sense to put it in the left hand. This is something that I use every single walk around gig. So let me explain what I do. I do a particular routine walk around, and I'll do a very abridged version of it with Sarah behind the camera. So I've got a Rubik's Cube here. There's 6 sides to a Rubik's Cube. There's a different colour on each side. Sarah, the more I mix one of these up, the harder they are to solve. There's actually 47 quintillion million combinations or something. As I go through this Rubik's Cube, just anytime you want to, say stop.
Stop.
There, are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, you could have stopped any way you wanted to. You stopped right here. And if I told you 6 months ago I knew exactly where you would stop, would you believe me?
Well, I would, because I know you've got
exactly, but a year and a half,
no.
Most people wouldn't believe me, but it's true. A year and a half ago, I made a prediction, but I made a permanent prediction, a prediction that you guys won't believe. And check this out. Have a look at this, because now on my arm, if I have here, can you see that, Sarah? Is that seeable? I want you to have a look at this and see. I think we'll put some B-roll over this as well. I want you to see that, look at this, every single side of this Rubik's Cube matches exactly piece for piece for piece. Check that out. And that leaves me in a position where I can then go into a sort of a 1 second solve and go into another phase where I can solve the cube. So that's where this one came about. And this is actually the Brunswick Cube 3 mix. And I do a lot of stuff with Rubik's Cubes, and I knew I wanted to kind of end up in that scenario. And when I first created this, the whole idea was to maybe use a shell to mix it in and out. And then I had the idea of doing a sort of a timing force. You know when you've got a pack of cards? Let me get a deck of cards here. So you got a pack of cards and you want to force the 10 of clubs, for example, and you do that cutting timing force. So say I'm going to cut cards onto the table, just say stop.
Stop.
There, and it's the 10 of clubs. That's a timing force. A lot of magicians know that, right? I had the idea of doing it with this. So doing a timing force. So what I'm doing, if you know Cube 3, as I'm talking, I'm giving it 3 Cube 3 mixes. And then I turn over and as I'm continuing to talk, I take the first mix out and then I stop talking. And then I carry on and I say, just say stop anytime you want to. And when they say stop, which is normally there, I'm in the position where it matches. I'm in the Cube 3 mix. Now, if they don't say stop there, I make a joke and I go, my gosh, you're taking a long time to say stop, aren't you? Look, let's try that again. Just say stop. And I give one mix and I take the mix out as I'm talking. So now I'm in the same situation. And if I'm one move off, I can just very quickly add that move as I drop my hand to my side as I tell them to hold a hand out. And you know what? A couple of years ago at Blackpool, I bought that Rubik's Cube, that electronic Rubik's Cube, that somebody could mix and it would immediately send the image over to the phone as a picture and you could show them the picture in your gallery. And I remember looking at it and thinking, well, that's just not as good as this. Because even though they were able to mix it up themselves, this is a better revelation. And I stopped, and it allows me to then be in a situation where I'm ready to do the 1 second solve. So this is one of my favorite tattoos. This is when I'm doing walk around, I will do this every single time. If I'm doing a Rubik's Cube, this is my opening routine, and nobody else does this but me, which is cool. You know, it's really, really cool. So that's the first tattoo I ever got. So the second tattoo I got after this one, like I said, I did this for a long time, still do it now. Started off with Rubik's Dream and used the shell, and then I went into using my timing force. After that, which made it more minimalist because I had less props to carry around. I then went into getting another tattoo on this arm. And I'll show you what I originally did with this. I still do this, but now I've changed the routine. But let me show you what I originally did. It's a card routine. And Sarah is going to help me. Is that all right, Sarah?
Okay.
So I have a pack of playing cards. You could shuffle these if you want to. And you're going to have 5 cards, and we're going to have 5 cards sticking out the pack. So as I go through, just say stop.
Stop.
Cool. 1. And another one.
Stop.
Cool. That's 2. And again.
Stop.
3. And another one.
Stop.
And one last one.
Stop.
There.
Yeah.
Cool. So 5 cards from 5 different parts of the pack. Are you happy with that, yeah?
Yeah.
You could have stopped any way you wanted to. You stopped on these 5 cards. We'll put the rest of the pack away. They're not important. Now, Sarah, you're going to mix it. You have no idea what these cards are, but we're going to randomly mix them up. You're going to say deal or split. If you say deal, I'll deal the card on the table. If you say split, I'll change the positions of the cards and then just drop them on the table, okay? So deal or split?
Split.
Split, so we'll change those. And again, deal or split?
Deal.
Deal, and again?
Split.
So you can see you changed the positions of 4 of the cards there. We'll do it one more time. Deal or split?
Deal.
Deal. And again?
Deal.
And again?
Split.
Split. And the last one has to be deal. Are you happy with that one?
Yeah.
Cool. Now here's the thing. I want to think about this for a minute. The cards were shuffled by you. You picked any 5 cards that you wanted to, and then you changed the order of the cards.
Yeah.
So we've got these 5 cards here. Now I'm going to look at them for the first time. We've got the Ace of Clubs, we've got the 2 of Hearts, we've got the Jack of Spades, we've got the 5 of Diamonds, and we've got the 3 of Clubs. That was completely fair. That was your choice. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Could I have possibly known what cards you were going to pick or the order you'd end up putting them in? No, but I did. Again, I knew a year and a half ago exactly what cards you pick and the order you picked them, which is why a year and a half ago, I actually got a tattoo here on my arm, and you can see that those 5 cards match exactly. Ace of Clubs, 2 of Hearts, Jack of Spades, 5 of Diamonds, 3 of Clubs. And it's so strong. If you're sitting down with a group of people and you do that, it's obviously just a very simple, strip out, substitute, transfer thing, Vernon's move, and just a false mix. But the reaction it gets, and this is the important thing to understand, whenever you do something with a tattoo, the reaction is just tenfold. It really is. It's just, rather than just predicting something on a piece of paper, it gets an even stronger reaction. Now, I love this trick so much. And again, I put it on this forearm for the same reason. And what I found is people might see the tattoo, but if they don't register this tattoo until I actually show it. They don't think that that's going to have anything to do with the trick. It just looks like a tattoo. Even more so now that I've got tattoos everywhere. But I love this trick so much that I wanted to be able to do it walk around and on big tables as opposed to just in an environment where I'm sitting around a table with somebody. So then I started doing a multiple selection routine. And how that works is I would force these 5 cards with a riffle force. So I'd have these 5 cards, I'd cull them out, and I'd palm them out as the cards were shuffled, and then I'd riffle force these 5 cards. Then I'd go into a normal multiple selection routine. So I'd reveal the 5 cards, a spin out, double lift, top change, whatever it may be. And as I find each card, I hand them to somebody on my side, because I do this mix and mingle, standing up. And so this person's holding the 5 cards, and then I ask them to hold them in the fan like this. So they hold these 5 cards in a fan like this. And then I go into the line saying, would you believe me if I told you that I knew what those cards were and the order you picked them? No, you wouldn't. Let me prove that to you. And when I do this, let me tell you, when I'm at a wedding and I'm in this situation and there's a girl holding these here and my arm's right next to her, every single person takes out their phone. The photographer comes over and just takes this picture immediately. And the amount of pictures there are of my arm with a girl holding a fan of cards is just insane. So that was the next tattoo I did. And that one was, again, a real workhorse for me. Even today, these are probably the 2 tattoos that I use the most. So after these tattoos, I just stuck with those 2 for quite a while, didn't I, Sarah? I only had those 2 for a long time. And then I decided they looked a bit odd just being on their own. So that's when I kind of decided I wanted to get full sleeves. I wanted to have 2 full sleeves full of magic tricks. And the next tattoo I got was this one, because I love the card thing so much. I wanted another card revelation. So what I did, I'll show you the routine, and then I'll tell you the thinking behind it. And this is designed for walk around. It's a pack of playing cards. And Sarah, you get to help me, okay? You excited about that, I can tell. Just get rid of the box. Say stop.
Stop.
Cool. We will stop right here. Again, it doesn't matter what the card is, to be honest. The Queen of Hearts, you happy with that one?
Yeah.
Good stuff. So Sarah's going to, would normally write her name on the card here. Obviously, she's behind the camera, so I'll write her name on it for her, sorry. There you go, Sarah. Hopefully you can see that. And the concept behind this is I'm going to show you the difference between sleight of hand and real magic, okay? So sleight of hand and real magic. So I'm going to take Sarah's card. I'm going to pop it about halfway down in the pack. I want you to see. Now, you know it goes halfway down because you saw the signature on the back of it. That's why I got to sign the back. Now, you'll see the card jump up to the top. When I just give the cards a rub like this, her card jumps straight to the top of the pack, and you actually see the signature come into display, which is pretty cool. Now, you might have missed that, so I'm going to do that again for you. This time, you know exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to pop that signed card about halfway down. Now, you know it's halfway down because you saw it, but if I just do this, the card comes to the top of the pack. And it happens every single time. And when I'm doing this walk around, I might do this about 3 or 4 times. I might have the card, it's kind of like a weird little ambitious card. And I say, that's all sleight of hand. Let me show you real magic. I'm going to take that your signed card here. I want you to watch. I'm just going to rub right here on my arm. And as I rub, I can actually pull the queen right there off your signed card, leaving a blank card. And your queen is now stuck to my arm, and they get to keep that as a souvenir. Now, the thinking behind that is I've always loved Ambitious Card, and my problem with Ambitious Card is there's never an ending. That's why people go into card to pocket or card to wallet or card to mouth, because they want to do something different. And I like the idea of just completely altering their card forever. And having the card appear on the arm. So Kat, I said to her, I gave her a Queen of Hearts, and I said, I need this to look as perfectly close to a bicycle Queen of Hearts as possible. And then I told her that I wanted it here. And the reason is, when I'm doing walk around magic, there's no way you're going to see that tattoo there until I do that. And there's not many routines where I do that. So I can go through a whole set and they'll never see this tattoo. Because unlike this and this, if they see this tattoo beforehand, it's game over. So so it was put in that position for a reason. And then I got myself into a situation where, and it's obvious what I'm doing here, I'm just doing a series of tilts and double lifts and passes, but with the signature on the back, which makes it really visual. But then at the end, I've discovered that I know exactly where to hold that card so that when I rotate my arm, it covers the tattoo. So I know that I need to put it there, and then when I rotate my arm, it covers the tattoo. So then I've got this beautiful moment of me pulling back and showing that their card is now on my arm, and that's a blank card. So that's that. I got that tattoo. And I'll tell you a little side note. I do this all the time, walk around. And then I wanted a completely impromptu card revelation. I wanted it because I wanted to be able to do something where I didn't have a deck of cards and I didn't have any props. And I literally could just do a card routine with nothing. And obviously the reason I did the Queen of Hearts is because if you ask someone to name a card, a lot of the time they'll name a Queen of Hearts, especially if they're a lady. But then I thought, well, as I've got this tattoo here that's basically hidden, I could do something else with it. And so a year later, and I'm skipping forward here, but a year later, I added something else to this tattoo, which changes the routine completely. And I'll very quickly show you this. Sarah, I've got an invisible deck of cards here. I want to imagine that I've got all of the number cards here and all of the picture cards here. Sarah, do you want the what I want you to do is reach over and grab either the number cards or the picture cards. Which ones are you grabbing?
Numbers.
Numbers, okay. So she takes the number cards, throw them away, Sarah. That's amazing. That leaves the picture cards. So we've got the male picture cards, the jacks and the kings, and we've got the female picture cards. I'm going to put them on your hands. She would hold her hands out. I'll put them on the hands. I'll say, we're going to do this differently. Would you like to pass me the male picture cards or the female picture cards?
Female.
Female picture cards. Okay, great. Throw away the males. That leaves us with the four queens. We'll do it one more time. We're gonna do it differently though. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw the four queens up in the air, and I want you to imagine you can see them all, and I want you to reach up and grab either the red queens or the black queens. Which ones are you grabbing?
Black.
The black queens. So you've grabbed those black queens, throw those away. That leaves the heart and the diamond. The heart and the diamond floating up in front of you in the air. For the final time, I want you to reach over, grab one of those cards and hand it to me. Which one are you handing to me?
Hearts.
Hearts, okay, and diamonds will just fall to the floor. So you handed me the Queen of Hearts. If I told you that I had your card tattooed on my arm, would that be good?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? And check it out, look, your card. Look right there, your card tattooed on my arm, your card. Oh, you don't look very impressed, but notice there's a little arrow there, a little arrow pointing to the Queen of Hearts. So all Kat did for me is she added your card and she added an arrow, and I was able to add in some equivoque or some equivoque, however you want to call it, magician's choice, and I was able to create two routines out of the one tattoo just by adding your card. And I love this routine because it is literally anytime, anywhere. You can catch me on the streets, you can catch me anywhere. I could literally be naked, horrible thought, but I could literally be naked. Stop laughing. Shut up. Shut up.
You'd be naked doing magic somewhere.
Walking around doing naked magic. We did get booked for a nudist colony once, remember? Anyway, yeah. I could literally go to a nudist beach and do this trick anytime, anywhere. It's on my skin. So that's what I did. And that's where that routine came from. So that routine went really, really well. The card on the arm really slayed. And this is now the routine that Sarah thinks I'm an idiot for doing. And Kat, who has literally spent her entire life tattooing, she told me that her favourite tattoo that she's ever done is this tattoo right now. In fact, I actually tell a story. A lot of people ask me because they get really interested about the tattoos, and they go, oh, is there a story behind all the tattoos when I'm at gigs? And I actually tell this fake story. I go, oh yeah, each one of these tattoos has, it does a magic trick, but also each one of them has a personal meaning to me. My wife will only let me have a tattoo if it's got some sort of personal meaning to it, which is rubbish. She doesn't care. And then I give her a few examples. I say, these cards here, this is actually my kids' dates of birth, which they are. Rylan was born on the 12th of November. Thea was born on the 5th of March. And then I talk about this tiger. And I say, hey, this tiger, you see, it's got a poker chip in its mouth. That's because I married my wife in Las Vegas. And that was the time that we got married. I don't know if that's true or not, because can't even remember when we got married, to be honest. I was drunk. But you know, you got all these, I got all these tattoos going on, right? And I tell all this fake story. And then I point out this tattoo and I say, because this is the only problem one. Because when I got this tattoo of a Sharpie marker, my wife said, how does that signify anything to do with our relationship? And I said, a Sharpie marker is permanent, like my love for you. And it always gets people to laugh at a gig. And it's totally not true because she doesn't care. But this is the tattoo that Sarah thinks is just so weird. And the reason this tattoo was put here is because this, I didn't know if this would work. I didn't know if putting a tattoo there would work. But after working with it with a couple of months, it was brilliant. No one could see it. I could go into this anytime, anywhere. And I thought, well, I've got another forearm. What can I do? What can I do with this? And then I realized that one of the things, if anyone has followed my career, one of the things that I love doing is Sharpie manipulation. I've put several Sharpie manipulation routines on DVD. I've also put several on my original DVD Chop. I put a Sharpie manipulation routine as well. So I do a lot of Sharpie manip, and this is a great way to end it. It's even better than OmniPen, because what I do, and I'm not going to go through the whole Sharpie thing now, but I'll make it disappear and bring it over here, and I'll put it over there and make it go over here, and I'll throw it up over there and make it jump over there, and you know, all this sort of stuff. I'll do a whole bunch of, I've got a full manipulation act that I do, but at the end, what I do is I say, of course, I need a big finish, and I just do a vanish of the Sharpie, and I body turn slightly, and I drop this into my back pocket, and as I do that, well, actually I don't, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I do this, and I come up like this, and I hit my arm. So it looks like I've pushed that pen into my skin like this, and I rub it, and then when everyone reacts to that, I literally then, this is here, and I just drop this into my back pocket. And nobody sees this Sharpie. Now, obviously, it's a blue one, and I've got a black one here, but you get the concept. That whole moment right there really freaks people out. It really does. It's such a great moment. A lot of the time, every gig, if I'm doing something with a Sharpie, which I do an awful lot, I'm going to go into that moment right there. It's such a cool moment. Boom, goes right there onto the skin. So that's why that went there. And then I started messing around with color changing Sharpies, and I have a black Sharpie that turns red, that turns blue, and it then appears on the skin. And I've got a thing where I've got 6 different colored Sharpies, and they pick a Sharpie and a colored Sharpie, and it's predicted on my skin. So that's where that came about. Right, okay, so after all of that, I'm going to go through a few of these other tattoos. If you want to see another video of me performing some of the other routines, I will, but I can literally make this a 2-hour video if I performed every single trick. I'll describe some of them to you, and then if you would like me to perform any of those particular routines, I'll be more than happy to go through them. So, I then added this tattoo here of the noughts and crosses board, and the reason I added that is because it allows me to do an impromptu tic-tac-toe prediction. Because if you would know an impromptu tic-tac-toe prediction, if you know any one of them, you know, there's so many out there where you can play tic-tac-toe with somebody and you can predict the outcome, depending on how you, normally it's a business card with a tic-tac-toe board on there, and depending on how you display it, you know, will depend on what they've done. Well, I can do the same thing with this. I can hold my arm this way, I can hold it out this way, I can hold it this way. So I can orientate this any way that I want to, and it's also set to be the same revelation as the Bond Lee stage-size tic-tac-toe reveal, which I actually use in my stage show. So yeah, that was added for that. Then this here, this 8-ball, that was added just because I do a lot of 8-ball routines, and I wanted a way to produce an 8-ball, and it was quite magical to just say, hey, see this 8-ball here? And pluck it off my arm. Or I can literally just drop it and use my arm, use my elbow to kick it up, and it looks like it just pops up out the skin. And that 8-ball was put there because doing that pop-up move there makes it very easy. So it looks just like an 8-ball pops out my skin. It looks really, really good. Now you'll notice these here, these are the Murphy's Magic poker chips, and there's 2 there and there's 1 there. The reason for that is I use these Murphy's Magic poker chips to do a color changing chip routine. And I'll have the blue chip, I'll have the red chip, they'll change places. I also use them to do a wild chip routine where you've got like 3 red chips and they turn white, they turn blue. And it's very magical. Rather than just taking, for example, a blue chip here and having it turn red, it's way more magical to take a blue chip, rub it on the red chip and show that it's turned red. Or take a red chip and show that it's turned blue, or I'll take 2 black chips and I'll rub them there and they'll turn into blue and red. This allows me just to make it a little bit more impressive. So I do a lot of stuff with the Murphy's chips, as I say. If you want a second video, a follow-up video on what I do with these, I'll be more than happy to do that for you. Then I added the ESP signs along here with 1 in red, and that's because I do a whole bunch of stuff with ESP cards, and I do a routine where they're always going to end up with the 3 wavy lines, and so I wanted a prediction here where the 3 wavy lines was in a different color to show the prediction. Now outside of that, oh yeah, this one here. So this whole thing here is to do with a routine that I do. I use digital force bag. If you know digital force bag, I use digital force bag to force a lion And then then I use a Sven pad to force Vegas, and then I use a Turner watch, or sometimes I'll use the Richard Osterland method of forcing a time. I'll force a time and I'll either use a Turner watch, or more often than not, I'll use the Osterland method. If you don't know the Osterland method, it's so clean. You borrow a watch and you tell them that, oh, this watch is really cool. Can you turn the knob for me, please? Can you turn the crown? And then they push it in and you force the time. It's amazing. It's on his Easy to Master Mental Miracles DVD set from L&L Publishing. I use that, and it's kind of like a confabulation routine, because they end up with a lion in Las Vegas at a particular time, and this time here, there's the lion and Las Vegas with the poker chip. It all matches exactly, okay? And one thing that Kat was doing is she was actually blending all this in. And that's the really important thing. You want each revelation to stand out. So you don't want to have it so that you can't really tell what's what. You want each revelation to stand out, but it also needs to look like a full sleeve. Outside of that, on the arm, that's kind of all I've done in terms of tricks, because when I'm performing, I normally have my arms covered to here. So the whole upper part of my arm, I kind of basically said to Kat, look, I don't really care what you do. I just want it magical. I want it themed to magic, and I want it looking really cool. So she's got a whole bunch of stuff going on here. That's quite nice. This is a split press by Guy Barrett. This is my favorite illusion in my illusion show. And this is the exact split press that we've got, which I just love, because Kat is also the lead assistant in my illusion show, so I like to think that the person who tattooed my tattoos has also tattooed herself on me. She's actually there inside this box. You just can't see her. And then there's a really cool thing that Kat added up here, which, if you can see that, I don't know if you can see that, Sarah. I know we're going to put some B-roll on top, but this is mirror writing. So it says magic, but then you put a mirror to it and it says trick, which is really nice. Now this arm should have been finished by now. Unfortunately, this thing called COVID happened, and Kat spent 6 months unable to tattoo me. But this should be finished, hopefully, by the end of this year. I've added a few things on here. So first of all, these are just for aesthetics, but this purple blob, I actually do a lot with multiplying balls when I'm doing big tables. At corporate gigs or weddings, I use multiplying balls. I have a multiplying balls routine, and I use purple multiplying balls. So this here is so that I can open my multiplying balls routine by plucking a ball off my arm. Now you'll notice here that I've got 3 silver dollars. And the 3 silver dollars is for when I go into a coin routine. So I'll start off by saying, hey guys, I'm going to show you a trick with a coin. It's an American silver dollar. It's the largest coin in circulation today. I want to show you. In fact, these are what they look like. These are I've got 3 of them here. These are very old coins. They look exactly like that. Can you do me a favor, sir? Can you pick one of them? Which one? Oh, the middle one. Perfect. That's the special one. That's the one where I can actually make the coin real. And I actually just have the coin in finger palm and I just pluck it off my arm. And it's a nice way to go into a coin routine. These dice here are set up for a few different things. First of all, I do a routine where I have 6 dice out. One person has a dice and they roll them on the table. They put them in any order. And when they've got the order, it matches this. But this is also used for a toxic force. So sometimes I'll use toxic and I'll borrow someone's phone. I'll open up their calculator. I'll have different people put in numbers and add and take away and subtract and stuff. And when they get the end result, it matches that 6-digit number there as well. So that's what that's for. This here we've talked about. The watch, again, I refer you back to the Osterland thing, the Richard Osterland timing force that I mentioned earlier on. I use that an awful lot. It's great because it's impromptu. I don't need anything on me. As long as somebody's got a watch with a crown on it, I can borrow the watch and I can go into this routine. So I can literally just say, hey, I can see you've got a watch there. Can I borrow it? Wonderful. We're going to try and do something completely random. Can you come over here and help me? Can you hold his watch? Can you turn the crown for me? Now, anytime if you want to stop, just stop. Push it in. Is it locked? Yeah, give it back to him. Don't let him see it. Can you have a look at the time, sir? Very good. Don't tell anyone. Let me read your mind and tell you what the time is. The time is it's a 7. It's 7:15. Is that right, sir? Because do you believe in things being predetermined? You do, you don't? Well, everything was predetermined because I've got 7:15 right here tattooed on the watch on my wrist. And then this last one, this is the latest one that Kat did for me. This was done just before the pandemic. And the whole idea of this is, and unfortunately I've never had a chance to do it because I had the idea for it, Kat did it for me, and I've never actually gone out and performed it, but I will do. This is Spider-Man, and this is a balloon dog. And it's a very simple thing where I've got two Sven pads, little pocket Sven pads, so they don't take up too much room. And one says on the front superheroes, and I flick through and I show they're all different superheroes. The other one says balloon models, and there's all different balloon models in here. And you give one to each person. They hold on to them. You ask them to look at it, and you go, "You've got a random superhero. You've got a random balloon shape." And there's hundreds to pick from, and I give a prediction out at the beginning, and the prediction is completely wrong. It's like a Batman and a flower, and the prediction's completely wrong, and you go, "Oh, I'm really sorry, but hang on a second," turn around the prediction, and it says, "Look on the left arm," and you go, "Well, let's have a look at the left arm," and there's Spider-Man webbing a balloon dog. So again, it's just a really nice thing. It just uses a couple of Sven pads and a prediction, and I'm good to go. And I think that's the thing with these tattoos. You have to think through what you want to do with them. And then you have to be sure that that's going to fit your style because you're stuck with them. And I think that they also have to aesthetically suit your character as well. So they have to kind of fit the sort of thing that you would have on your arms, and the sort of thing that you would actually be comfortable having as a tattoo. You don't just want to have a tattoo of Justin Bieber down your left arm, for example, because that would look very, very weird, unless you're a massive Justin Bieber fan, and then it would probably work for you, although I can't imagine anybody here that's a Justin Bieber fan, but if you are, that might work. But the point you've got to make is understand that you're stuck with these tattoos. So a lot of the time, I've dismissed so many ideas I had for tattoos because I didn't think they'd work as well as I wanted them to. These have to be surefire, and a lot of them are revelations, and I think that's the key here. All it does, having these tattoos, is it strengthens the revelation, because now they know that it's permanent. When they see something tattooed on your arm, it's permanent, it's done. Do you know what I mean? You're never going to be in a situation where people can doubt that that was definitely predicted right at the very beginning. So guys, that's it. That's the tattoo video. A lot of people have been asking for it. As I say, I've only glossed over some of the routines, as this video will be an hour long. But if you'd like to see a follow-up video, if there's anybody interested enough to see the routines that I do with the other tattoos, please let me know and I'll actually go through that with you. And maybe we'll do a version 2 of this in a few weeks' time. And we'll be back next Sunday with a proper Q&A. So please do me a favor, guys. Number 1, let me know in the comments what you think. Which is your favorite tattoo? I'd love to know. Were there any that you saw that I demonstrated to you and you go, "Ah, that's really cool, I'd like to do that," or "I'd love to know your thoughts." And then secondly, if you've got any questions for next week's Q&A, please let me know. Anybody that asked questions for this week's Q&A, I'll roll them over to next week, but I'd like a lot more questions as well. So if anybody has any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you again back here later on today at 6 o'clock with the Magic Live. So I'll see you then. Thanks very much for watching.